sensors, the government jumps up and down and marks you a C or a D or something, right? And then you have to go and clean up because of the risk rats pose to food. So having pets at home, does it pose the same problems?
Potentially, but then that's provided you let your pets get to your food. I guess is if your cat or your dog were to munch on your piece of chicken, I'm sure you're not going to eat that piece of chicken anymore. The cat or the dog can continue to eat that piece of chicken. Because, honestly, my sister will be in a better position to answer this. She's a vet. But there will be certain bacteria that can be found in the mouth of cats and dogs that we will not have. But it doesn't mean that these animals cannot transfer these bacteria onto your food and then, can after that transfer to you.
So basically, your pets don't get at the food the way rats do. Generally, so
it's up to you to prevent your pets from getting to the food.
I hope that answers the question. Does anybody else have a question on food? Yes.
Hi, going back to the cases of food poisoning, do doctors have to report cases like that to the MOH when it's referred to you?
Yes, yes and no. So if we look at this list, this is a list of what we need to report. Okay. So this is what MOH is interested in. And this is what they do with the data that we report. That, among other things, then after we report this, sometimes you'll get a phone call from the authorities and say, where have you eaten? Who are the other people who ate with you? And things like that.
Why are these of particular interest, like salmonella? Why is that of particular interest to the health ministry?
Salmonella, especially in the context of if you work in the food industry, then this is of great interest because it's one of those things that can be passed on from a food handler to their clients.
But you also mentioned rotavirus, norovirus. Those are not reportable.
Those are, I can't quite remember now.
You can't report everything, right?
I'll need to go back and look at the form. But really, it is actually difficult to pick up a positive report from stools. Of about 100, out of 100 cases of diarrhea that we see, if I send stools off for testing, usually a positive report will come back only in 10 to 20% of cases. And this is what you see here as well. Because you see that there are 400 to 500 cases every week, but every week we only get about 50 to 60 positive things coming out.
But in order to obtain that data, you would have to collect some samples beforehand, yeah? So how does it go then? How do you decide whether or not you have to get someone's stool or blood tested?
Then that one is up to the individual doctor, whether to collect or not to collect.
Right.
Also depends on whether how sick the person is, and therefore whether I really need to know. If you are a young fit person and you come to me and you've got vomiting diarrhea, I'll tell you, I'll give you 2 days MC. You take some vomiting and diarrhea medicine and then see how you are. But if you come in dehydrated, can't keep your food down, then it becomes, with fever, then it becomes important to me to know exactly what is affecting you. Because then it's the difference between do I give you antibiotics or I don't give you antibiotics. Then that's when I'll send things off.
Right. I believe somebody else had, we'll give the other person, was there somebody? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, can I request someone to tell at least the regulatory framework in Singapore? I mean, we have the AVA, HSA, NEA, SPRING, and quite a few of the regulatory bodies. I mean, how exactly, what am I supposed to look out for when I go to buy something, or when I can find the labels are fine, but we have got several of these entities. How do they interact, and what should I look out for as an individual?
Actually, why, as an individual, are you interested in who does it? Unless you want to complain, or
Well, I do notice, for example, they say that it is NEA grade A restaurant, somewhere it says grade B restaurant. What does it mean, and what interpretation I'm supposed to make of that?
right, Louis? Maybe you could explain what does A, B, and C rating, and who gives that?
The NEA gives us. Okay, usually the NEA will come and inspect our kitchen. They will do a grading of your kitchen, they check of your food hygiene, personal hygiene, storage, everywhere. They go to the kitchen everywhere and check chiller temperature. So that's how they do the grading. And of course, the cleanliness of the kitchen. Like for example, you see in the hawker center, sometimes you'll see A, B, that's C also. Then you go and watch and compare the three, A, B, C. You will know how they grade it. Correct?
If they find cockroaches in the kitchen, what do you get? What grade do you get?
Cockroaches in the kitchen?
Yep.
We hardly have cockroaches.
No, but
Of
if
course,
the
sometimes-
NEA finds cockroaches, say, how would they grade that? Would that be bad or
Of
very
course,
bad?
that's bad.
No.
But usually, before the inspection, we already have pest control come in. But we have pest control come in every day. Pest control that's work in the hotel regular. Yeah.
Right, okay. Priscilla, if you could.
The staphylococcal recent outbreak in, this porridge, they call it a raw fish porridge. One of them is not in. Is it staphylococcal?
No, it's streptococcus.
Is it also under that list? Can you expand?
It's
Is this
not-
the Picure Market one you're talking
no,
about?
the one
is it?
that they have their hands and legs chopped off.
the hand and leg
mics,
chopped off
yeah.
one.
Okay.
Okay, that one is actually quite rare. It is very, very unusual to find streptococcus becoming a food poisoning kind of agent, and that is streptococcus group B, which is the infecting agent in this case, is known as can cause problems in human beings, and but to be spread through food, that one is a bit unusual. It is usually spread by other means.
It's
What
confirmed.
means?
It's confirmed, is it?
Huh?
They tested it in the raw fish.
Yes, I believe in this case it was actually tested in raw fish, and that in certain types of raw fish they actually found this.
Right. So, what's the advice?
So the advice is don't eat the raw fish that have got these. But it's simply because once it gets in, then once again it's just your body's immune system fighting against it. And the reason why that person got the hands and legs or feet chopped off is actually he said it in the interview. I don't know, the wife said it in the interview. Your choice between, do I give you the medicine to keep you alive, but which will cause gangrene in your hands and feet, or do I not give you the medicine and let you die, but you will not get gangrene? And the choice that was made was, I want to be alive, but it's okay, I can have no hands and no feet.
So it was actually caused by the medicine, not by the infection. The infection would have killed the person.
So the infection would have killed the person, but the medicine that helped to keep him alive caused the gangrene, which in the end caused the amputation. But it kept him alive. And they were warned about this.
Right, tough choice. Right. Anyone else with pressing questions to ask? Because if not, then I'll wind down the session by asking each of our panelists for one piece of advice they would give us about food handling or cooking or eating. Louis, would you like to start? Or ladies first?
I think as a consumer, just now I shared on how to store food, how to prepare. I think Louis shared a lot about preparing food. I think from my perspective, it's really how to, in order to optimize the shelf life of the food item that you purchase or you are consuming, make sure you keep them in the appropriate temperature. Yeah.
Which is in the fridge.
Which is at the right compartment of the fridge.
Oh, just one thing, Hui Ling. If you put food in the fridge, do you have to keep them inside containers? Can you just leave them open?
The preferably is to segregate them so as to avoid cross-contamination if there's any bacteria already within certain food items that you have put inside the fridge.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Ling, would you like to give one piece of advice?
I guess I keep to my area, which is that if you ever get food poisoning, if you are vomiting and you're unable to keep your food down, then it is important that you see your doctor immediately, who will then need to decide whether you need to be admitted or not.
But if you've got diarrhea but no vomiting
But if you've got diarrhea, no vomiting, and you think you're able to eat and drink enough to keep up with the loss, then you still need to see a doctor if nothing else for MC. But you're not going to go to the office with diarrhea, right?
Supposing we are not working or it's a Saturday or something.
Probably still go to the doctor so that if nothing else, they can give you something to slow down your diarrhea, making it easier for you to
Can't
keep
I
yourself
buy
hydrated.
that off the counter? Can't I just go to Guardian and say I want some diarrhea pills?
Some diarrhea pills are by prescription.
Right. Okay, so in other words, if you're having it bad, go see a doctor.
Yes.
Okay, Louis.
Hello. Okay. I think it's personal responsibility, very important, especially as a chef, even as a housewife cooking at home, because you're going to cook for your whole family. So don't take the risk.
So what, wash your hands?
Yeah, wash your hand.
Yeah, make sure the whole...
Make sure your pot and pan is clean, is sanitized if you have.
One question, chopping boards. Is it better to have a wooden chopping board or a plastic chopping board?
I think now NEA, they start to accept wooden chopping board. Yeah, because after you cut everything, you can scrape off, But we're not using that. We use a plastic chopping board. But after a certain period, we will change a new one.
Right. So if our chopping boards start looking very old and lined and cracked and all that, we should change it.
It's time to change, yeah.
It's time to change it. Okay. Thank you very much, all of you. And thank you for being a lovely audience.
And on that note, it's time to head out to the hawker centers and eat our dirty food. So thanks everyone for coming. Thanks for joining us this evening. Special thanks to Dr. Ling, Dr. Tay, Chef Louis, and Salma. Thank you, everyone.